those people with the willingness to sacrifice the most amount of their own for the war, it could get ugly.
The power of our democracy.
Is there still an American dream? Is it alive? Is it a nightmare? What is it?
I think that phrase. I was going to do a documentary about the American dream, and I started doing a lot of studying about it. And that phrase itself came online in the culture early in the 20th century, and I think it was very much utilized by the powers that be to really churn the economy. To get it's aspirational, right? It's an aspirational thing, and I think at that time it was real. I mean, there were immigrants coming, and their lives were changed, and this ability the difference between being born in England or any other place where you're your lot is your lot, right? And not many people get to move up. So I think that upward mobility is part of the American dream. But I think as it stood back then, I don't think it is. Of course, it's still real. I mean, anybody can raise themselves through the mobility. It takes hard work. It takes luck. And for some people, it takes privilege, and they get it through privilege. I mean, it's just one of the forces of culture, and I think that's one of the things we're examining is how privilege is a deficit for the culture in some ways. We miss out on so much because of privilege. It blocks opportunities for people that actually might be smarter or more capable or whatever, or more humane. Who knows, right? But I do think with climate, with the global climate crisis, I think the American dream is being challenged and being changed, and the fact that large countries want what we have, India and China. If human innovation can catch up with them with the dire consequences of technology and progress, that I think is not healthy for humans and the planet. But I do think that I think the pandemic really taught us also. I think it was a great wake-up call for how much we don't need and what is too much, and a recalibration. I think we've lost our bodies. I think the American dream, through the human body and the human psyche, internalized subjective experience of life to the side, in order to feed the machine of capitalism. And with the body, if you throw the body away, you throw nature away, because we are nature. And so I think there's a huge reckoning around that. And so I think whatever we do going forward, however we can bring some hope of innovation and advancement, and I think it's just going to have to shift. And I don't think it's going to work if really such a small percentage of people hold all of the wealth and therefore all of the power. I just don't think it's going to work. So I think we've got some more reckoning to do. I don't know what that looks like, but hopefully we can all do it without killing each other, literally.
Yeah. And if history is any lesson, we see the end of World War I, we see the Roaring Twenties ushered in, right? A horrific time. We're going to party like it's 1999 for a decade.
Yeah.
Then World War II comes along, and we get the 50s, where America just loses its mind and becomes, the shit of the world. They're the biggest. Because of COVID, do you think we're going to see another type of pattern where people are like, whoa, we just went through that. I'm going to reevaluate my priorities here. I think I'm going to, branch out and I'm going to do something I never thought I would, just because who knows when maybe the next pandemic's going to come along, or are people generally feeling as though that was a big deal that we just went through. I want to start living now. I want to see a change in my life. Do you think that's going to be wed into the new evolution of what the American dream might be?
I truly do not know. I don't know if you've read the book The Fourth Turning, which fascinates me, which is, really the cyclical nature of American cycles, and there's four of them, and we're in the fourth turning right now, where all the institutions kind of fall apart. And the last time we were in it was the Depression era, Depression, World War One, Depression, World War Two. It was kind of that whole thing. They were all kind of one thing of it, and the Civil War was the one before that for America. And yeah, there is something that comes out of it, but I think the thing that's different now is that we are recognizing that we are in a closed system of nature that has limits, and that I think the extremity of weather and the imbalance it's going to create in resources on this planet, I don't think we're done with. I think the pandemic was a warning shot across our bow that we are, to show us that we're all really interdependent. My dream for the evolution of human consciousness is that we really get that we're interdependent, and we create our institutions and our roles and relationships with each other personally and collectively based on that level of consciousness. And
Interesting.
I think that's the only way we're going to figure that out, is that we all are an ecosystem.
Hmm.
And if we don't recognize that, we're going to do what we always do as humans, which is we're going to fight for the resources, and those people with the willingness to sacrifice the most amount of their own for the war. It could get ugly. I'm hoping a new level of, you were talking at the very beginning of our conversation, where are the adults in the room?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that, from these younger generations that are coming up, and some of the younger Gen Xers and the millennials, that a new level of adult does show up in the world that understands this interdependence and is willing to help us put down our guns and put down our voracious appetite for things, and the greed part of our psyche, in order to really take care of each other.